Klein suddenly spotted a shadow not far away and cautiously approached it, only to find that it was Fantasa's daughter, Katrina, who was sneakily following her out of concern. After spending some time together, they seemed to develop feelings for each other, so the three decided to hit the road. Soon, they found the tree of the dead in the forest, where the witch, opening the hole beneath, revealed the horseman's lair. Without pause, Klein swung her axe, eager to verify the so-called Headless Horseman's reality. After a chop, Root spewed bright red liquid like blood. "Is this tree of the dead alive?" At this moment, Klein didn't care about anything else, continuing to swing her axe until she encountered a nightmare. She discovered that all the heads taken by the Headless Horseman had ended up in the hollow of the tree, and right beside the tree she found the Headless Horseman's grave. Soil there clearly had been disturbed, showing someone had visited before. Klein dug up the grave and found only a headless skeleton. Klein realized that someone had taken the Headless Horseman's skull without permission, leading her to go on a killing spree until she gets it. Suddenly, thunder and lightning flashed as the Headless Horseman emerged from the tree of the dead, yet didn't attack Klein's group. She rode away quietly on her warhorse, ready for a new slaughter. Klein chased, but soon lost her. Meanwhile, the Headless Horseman arrives in town, ready to take the man's head before him who attempts to resist. But he was no match for the horseman, and was soon beheaded without mercy, while his wife trembled in the room. She hid her son safely upon sensing danger. Then she was beheaded, witnessed by the boy. Terrified, Boy dare not make a sound, and just when he thought he had escaped, the Headless Horseman sensed something. She swung her axe and turned to strike the floor, and in the end, the poor little boy couldn't escape fate. As the Headless Horseman prepared to leave, another man spotted her and fired a shot, causing the horseman to tumble off her horse. But as the man gloated, the Headless Horseman rose. Ordinary attacks seemed ineffective on her. However, the risen knight didn't intend to harm him, but he seemed unaware. He declared he would stop the killer tonight, just as Klein returned to town, quickly intervening to stop his foolishness. But he wouldn't listen, and with no other option, Klein joined the battle, ultimately finding a chance to drag the man away. She knew they stood no chance against this terrifying beast, and the furious Headless Horseman wasn't about to let them go. Soon, Klein was wounded by the horseman's sword, and the man was ruthlessly slaughtered. Witnessing this, Klein fainted on the... When she awoke, Klein said the Headless Horseman didn't kill indiscriminately. Her victims all had ties to her. Thus, the mystery thief of the Headless Horseman's skull caused all the murders. However, Fantasa dismissed Klein's theories, believing she was merely terrified and jumping to conclusions. But what's the truth? If Klein's right, who stole the Headless Horseman's skull? Determined to uncover the truth, Klein meticulously reviewed the events. She recalled the panic during the first murder in town. More crucially, they had argued that night. Klein suspected a conspiracy, with the killer possibly among them. Subtitle: Nowadays, with the sheriff having passed away, the murderer must be among the remaining 3 individuals, and Klein identified Bartes Fonts as the primary suspect. Additionally, old Bongortes was dead, and the boy's words reminded Klein that Fantaso and the deceased Vargas were relatives. Times L pound a tilde divide by or I circumflex L hat check a circumflex R letter 3CA to gun 203 quarter pound at sign a amount letter 3CA richest u amount u circumflex I amount o amount at I circumflex a amount a grob brea 1245678 R letter 3CA fortunate acute o I amount Armenian capan at sign a amount letter 3CA state u amount letter 237 pound symbol 3680 y cute micro divide by R either I cute o circumflex look at DZ not sign o circumflex Arabic letter 6B 1 pound 3 o amount o u grovia acute letter 3SE o tilde acute using o amount micro yen look at DZ copyright. With this realization, Klein felt clarity and went to find Notary Harden to inspect Vargas well before he died. Harden said Vargas' inheritance should have been his son's, but he too died by the Headless Horseman. Just then, the little boy stumbled upon Vargas' will, which revealed he had rewritten it before his death. He had left all his wealth to a deceased widow, leaving Klein puzzled as to why Vargas would do such a thing. It wasn't until she discovered Vargas' marriage certificate with the widow that Klein realized they had secretly wed. This meant the child born to the widow Duel was actually the illegitimate son of August, which also explains the reason why his estate was left to her. However, the actual truth of the situation was far more complicated than what Klein had ever imagined. Shortly after, Klein returned to the room and found Katrina there. More importantly, she seemed to know Klein suspected her father, but she didn't say much before leaving. Just after Katrina left, Klein stumbled upon a wizard's rune in her bedroom. She noted it seemed like a sinister curse, but at the moment, Klein didn't think too much of it. The next day, she found the drawer's evidence gone, and Klein suspected Katrina took it. She swiftly found Katrina, who was indeed destroying evidence to stop Klein accusing her father. She thought her father couldn't control the Headless Horseman, but Klein said if Fantassa wasn't linked, then why would her friends, the sheriff, the priest, and the notary hide the truth about her inheritance? To Klein's confusion, Katrina claimed she didn't know either, insisting that Klein needed to uncover the truth herself. The scene shifts. Fantassa panics, rushing home to tell Klein and his wife that notary Harden hanged himself at home. Subtitles: everyone in town feels uneasy. They think Klein, the last to see Harden, is involved. Hence, the townspeople gathered everyone that night at the church to prepare to berate Klein, and Fantassa urged her to brush up on her